Hello everyone, and welcome to my CSU channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Chrisley family's new Lifetime series is evolving rapidly after Todd and Julie's presidential pardons. Exclusive source. Now that Todd and Julie Chrisley have been pardoned, what does that mean for their family's new Lifetime series? Amid their imprisonment, People announced on May 21st that Lifetime was premiering an all-new docuseries showing how Chase Chrisley, Savannah Chrisley, Grayson Chrisley, Chloe Chrisley, and nanny Faye Chrisley have navigated the family hardship. Todd, 57, and Julie, 52, were not initially expected to be involved in the show as they were behind bars. However, on Tuesday, May 27th, President Donald Trump pardoned the longtime couple and Todd was officially released a day later. The legal shift occurred 2.5 years after they reported to prison in January 2023. With so much up in the air about their new show, a source with knowledge of the production now tells People they are adjusting to the changes. The show is still filming and will continue to, though the family situation is evolving rapidly, the source says. No one knew this pardon would happen and the goal is to cover their lives in real time, but things have significantly changed for them all and everyone in the family, as well as producers, are trying to figure it out and tell their authentic story, the source continues. The Chrisley family's previous show, Chrisley Knows Best, was very comical, says the source, who points out their new series will be different as they're all in a much different place now. But the producers are used to this. The source adds of the Lifetime crew. It's similar to Wendy Williams. When filming began on her doc, they thought they were going to do one kind of show, and then everything changed. The series, currently named the Untitled Chrisley's Project, comes nearly 3 years after Chrisley Knows Best concluded on the USA Network in March 2023. Its Chase and Savannah-focused spinoff, Growing Up Chrisley, had ended in October 2022, just a month ahead of Todd and Julie's November 2022 sentencing. Per an official logline from the network, the Chrisleys don't know best anymore, but they're doing their best to be there for each other. The family faces the challenge of carrying on the Chrisley name and legacy on their own with only phone calls and brief visits with their incarcerated parents. While Savannah maintains custody of her younger siblings, Chloe and Grayson, she has been fighting tirelessly for a presidential pardon to free her parents. The synopsis continued. Meanwhile, Chase is addressing some life struggles while building his new business and navigating his relationship with girlfriend Jody. The multi-generational bunch will also be exposing the raw truth of their lives, past and present, and the reality is far different from what audiences have seen before. Savannah, 27, shared with People earlier this year that her family was working with a production company and things were going great. The Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley podcast host told People. And then, there were some things that were done that I did not like. Savannah continued. I backed out. I stepped away, and I said, I'm done. I am not working. I'm not getting myself in a situation I don't feel comfortable and safe in. Clapperboard a sudden turn. The Chrisley family's Lifetime series, evolving rapidly after presidential pardons. The return of the Chrisley family to reality television was already poised to be one of the most talked-about premieres of the year. After the dramatic cancellation of their long-running USA Network hit, Chrisley Knows Best, following the federal bank fraud and tax evasion convictions of patriarch Todd Chrisley and matriarch Julie Chrisley, the Lifetime Network announced an all-new docuseries. Titled The Chrisleys, Back to Reality. The show was initially conceived to document the lives of the remaining family members, Savannah, Chase, Grayson, Chloe, and nanny Faye, as they navigated a world without their parents, who were serving out lengthy sentences in separate federal prisons. However, in a plot twist that no reality television producer or family lawyer could have possibly scripted, the entire premise of the show was instantaneously upended. The news that President Donald Trump had granted Todd and Julie Chrisley full presidential pardons, securing their immediate release from prison, has thrown the production into a state of flux described by insiders as evolving rapidly. The original premise, life on the outside, fighting for freedom, When Lifetime first announced the new series in the spring of 2025, the narrative was clear: a raw, unflinching look at a family shattered and in survival mode. The official logline spoke to a new, darker reality, stating, "The Chrisleys don't know best anymore, but they're doing their best to be there for each other." Daughter Savannah Chrisley, who had taken on the guardianship of her younger brother, Grayson, and niece, Chloe, was positioned as the central figure, the resilient glue holding the dynasty together. The initial episodes, filmed while Todd and Julie were incarcerated, focused heavily on the immense emotional and practical burden on Savannah. Viewers were set to witness her tirelessly fighting for a presidential pardon, her tumultuous relationships with her siblings like Chase, and the profound grief of navigating major life events, such as a difficult breakup, without the guidance of her parents. The show promised to expose the raw truth of their lives, a stark contrast to the highly stylized, comedic facade of their previous reality show. The Chrisleys, Back to Reality, was designed to be a tale of perseverance, a dramatic saga following the family's attempts to carry on the Chrisley name and legacy with only phone calls and brief, regulated visits to their imprisoned parents. It was a narrative of separation, struggle, and the long-shot hope for clemency. The pardon, an instantaneous pivot. The entire landscape of the show was irrevocably altered on Tuesday, May 27, 2025. President Trump, citing what he called pretty harsh treatment and a process he deemed unjust, granted the pardons. Within hours, both Todd and Julie were released from their respective facilities, Todd from a minimum security prison in Florida and Julie from one in Kentucky, just 2.5 years into their combined 19-year sentence. The impact on the Lifetime production was immediate and dramatic. An insider told reporters that the pardon was a complete surprise. "No one knew this pardon would happen," the source stated, emphasizing that the production's primary goal to cover their lives in real time suddenly had a far more complicated and infinitely more compelling story to tell. The fluid nature of reality TV production, which strives to capture authentic, unfolding events, was tested to its limit. The show's core narrative, the children struggle while their parents are behind bars, became obsolete overnight. The focus shifted from the pain of separation to the frenzy of reunification, from a legal battle to an emotional homecoming, and from the quiet struggle of the children to the complex re-entry of the parents into society.